evening. Keeps up the cash. Gary B, the casual comic guy here, and joining me as always on Tuesday, we have Rob, Fat Stacks of Comics. How you doing, Rob?
I'm bouncing to the beat.
Nice. And I'm going to apologize right away to everyone that's here. I am struggling through a summer cold that's doing its fair job of kicking my butt a little bit, but we are going to soldier on and get through this, and we're going to have a great time with our guest, none other than Dope Comics himself. How you doing tonight, Dope?
What is going on? I'm going to apologize because you got to put up with me for an hour or whatever. So
Nah, that's going to be a great distraction, buddy. All right, so Dope, you know how we do this, man. Give the quick introduction of yourself. We'll say hi to the chat, and then we're going to come right back to you, buddy.
I am Dope Comics. I have a channel called Dope Comics with _ the next at the end of it, like Malcolm. What can I say? I like collecting horror books. I like collecting just any kind of golden age books or any kind of just anything cool. Love all comic books. 50 cents, 50,000. I don't care what it costs. I love them all. So don't matter to me, man.
Comics are fun.
Yeah.
All right, let's say hi. We got Las Cruces in first as usual. How you doing tonight, James? We have Kevin in. How you doing, Kevin? Jerry the Jitterbug, one of my favorite people ever. I already said that. Big B, how you doing tonight, sir? Nice to see you. And Psychedelic Comics, Paul. Good evening tonight, buddy. How are you? And we have another great guy. One of my another favorites is Anachronic Comics Joe. Guys, this coat's kicking my butt. I'm going to be stumbling all night, but we're going to get through this. We have FST George. How you doing tonight, sir? Nice to see you. Freaky Louie's in here. How you doing, Freaky Louie? Nice to see you, buddy. We have Pocan Joe. How you doing, Joe? Nice to see you, bud. And we have Phil Ailing here. Good evening, Phil. Nice to see you again, sir. And Norrin Rad. Good to see you, Norrin Rad. Hope all is well with you, sir. Keep on drawing. Norrin Rad, some great art in the community. And we'll keep saying hi to people as they pop in here. But for now, let's turn it to you, Dope, and let's see your first book. Now, did you have a theme this time?
My favorite reads. Last time I was on here, I'm back like a vertebrae. And the last time I was on here, we did all kinds of just big books, CGC books, all that kind of stuff. Nobody ever cares about what I'm going to read. So today I'm going to show you all the stuff I love to read.
There you go.
Excellent.
You can wait it. You mean you can read comics?
I love reading comics. If you want to fix what's wrong, you know how many people always talk about what's wrong with, why they come out with a #1 every, 6 months or this or that. Well, if you read your comics, you wouldn't have to worry about it because, every key is an issue then. So if you love all issues, just read your comics. So my first comic that I loved to read growing up started probably all the horror stuff in my life. I love reading Twisted Tales. I don't know if y'all know this.
Nice. I've recently found out about it.
Twisted Tales, PC, Pacific Comics came out in the 80s. Had all kinds of great horror. It was anthology. This right here is a Bernie Wrightson cover. Beautiful cover. And if it came out in the pre-code horror days, it'd be worth thousands because that's a beautiful cover right there. We got some heads around his waist.
Jeez.
Got some stuff going on. A lot of these had Richard Corbin art, and they all got about 3 or 4 stories in them.
Bernie Wrightson was so good.
Yeah.
Come here, kids. I want to teach you how to get ahead in life.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. It was 10 issues. Some of them were really, really graphic. Some of them, they had all kinds of stuff that kids loved in them. All kinds of nudity and graphic stuff and just all kinds of stuff that I like.
Blood, gore, and boobies, right?
Oh, yeah. And, it made me like to read books. So
the Holy Trinity.
Yeah. This is #2, and it's my favorite cover of the bunch. And it's also got my favorite story in it. So
nice.
What's your favorite story called, Dope?
My favorite story just happens to be Over His Head right here, the very first story.
Nice.
So, great book. Great book. So if you ever want to pick up any of these, you can find them pretty cheap. If you get hooked on them, I love anthologies anyway, because if the book sucks next month, might be better again. You never know. But all these are great. So if you ever get a chance to read these, pick them up.
So you got Steve White saying you got the coolest pre-code horror collection he's ever seen. You got Anachronic Comics saying he loves Twisted. And you and I shared a love of that one book that's been coming out. It hasn't come out in a while now, Silver Coin, which is really good.
You'll probably see it tonight. Another anthology horror book.
And a great one. I think there's only one issue I didn't care for. All the rest I loved.
Yeah, there's only like 2 or 3 out of 15 that I don't like. But yeah, most of them are great. And if they never come out with another one, you know,
Yeah,
they're
you
great
still got
already.
those great ones to reread.
Oh yeah, just like Pacific Comics, they didn't come out with anything I like but this one brand, but it's legendary now, you know. So that is my first book.
Nice, and a great one. I like a good horrific start.
A lot of people wouldn't expect me to like this, but Supreme Power Nighthawk from Marvel Max. This is one of my favorite killers of all time. This right here is called Whiteface.
Yeah, the Ronald McDonald clone.
Well, he starts out as a pharmacist, and it really makes you think. He kills thousands, hundreds of thousands of people all at one time by being a pharmacist and putting poison in their pills. I mean, people go home and trust their pharmacy. You know what I mean?
Right.
And people are dying all over town, and they can't find out why everybody's dying. And it turns out to be the pharmacist is killing everybody.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and then he turns into a clown, and he puts some kind of poison in their balloons, and they all want to sound like, you know, that high pitched
the helium.
Yeah, and they all do it, and they all the kids die too. So, you know, he's a pretty bad guy, but his name is Whiteface.
Oh, dope. We got to get with Steve. He's got news about Silver Coin.
What's the news, Steve?
Station. Brother Joe, nice to see you, sir.
You know, they say they're going to keep
Matt
coming
Woods?
out with them, but I haven't seen none in a while. So
That's all right. I'd rather, if they're going to come out with them, I'd rather they take the time and give us some quality.
I do too, but looking at the previews, I was hoping they'd be back for Halloween. Yeah, so you know.
All right. So Nighthawk, that's one I've never seen before. I've never ever even seen that series.
Yeah, it's a Marvel Max series, so it's for grown-ups, and it's got a lot of gore and death in it too. So, it's kind of
that
stuff
Max
I
series
like.
had quite a few titles.
Yeah. It's some bad stuff. So, mark that one down.
All right.
Interesting.
Now, this book here, 1974, I believe. It's one of my favorite stories of all time. This is Man-Thing number 5. You know anything about that? Great stuff. This here is about a circus clown that he was dating a girl in the circus. She was screwing the strong man. So he ran away from the circus and ran into the swamp and shot himself in the head. This book has nothing to do with Man-Thing whatsoever. The only thing it's got to do with Man-Thing is Man-Thing heard the gunshot and came and found a dead body. So,
okay.
Wow.
Yeah. This book has the circus owner beating up a woman. It's got suicide in it. It's got all kinds of crazy stuff that I don't know how they even let this book out. But this is Night of the Laughing Dead. And
I got to get to it because I just bought all 3 Epic collections of the Man-Thing, and I think I'm on issue 2.
You can see him right here with his gun. He's just going to blow his brains out. So
yeah, they would never do that these days in a Marvel book.
Does that even have the Comic Code Authority logo on it?
Yeah, I mean, here's guys just beating the fire out of women in here. So there's all kinds of good stuff.
Rob, it's okay if you're doing all that as long as you don't show boobs while you're doing it.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
That was basically the Comic Code Authority,
or drug
right?
use.
Yes, or drug use.
And the best part about this book,
Paul loves it.
The best part about this book, you would think that this book would be horrible and people were really down on it and all this stuff. But the very next year, they came out with a record version of it. So you could hear the smacks and hear the gunshots. So if you want to hear the gunshots and the smacking of the women and
you
stuff,
can read along with us in your story. You'll know when it's time to turn the page when you hear the circus owner smack his woman like this.
And it's funny that they would make a record of Man-Thing with something that barely has Man-Thing in it.
Yeah. He just finds a dead body, and he's walking around with a dead body, and everybody thinks he killed him until they see the gunshot in his head. So
that is crazy.
So you got Paul saying he loves that story. You have in the Mike Plug cover, of course. You have Steve White saying Man-Thing blew your dick off.
Oh, of course it blew my dick off. Love it.
You have Matt Wood saying he's read that comic. It was truly a great story, one of his all-time favorite single issues.
What can I say?
Kevin loves all Man-Things.
And there's a couple. I mean, I love to collect cheap stuff too that's real kind of crazy like this. I've got books that came out, weird mystery books here lately where they've got maybe from the 90s where, you know, there's people going on just shooting rages. They'd never have that today, but just shooting up schools and stuff. And
Right.
I've
I
got
got
one.
that Amazing Spider-Man cover. I'm sure you have it with Santa Claus holding the gun.
yeah, just weird.
I'm like, you would never get that cover today.
What about the one with Batman with a gun up to his head and he's writing a suicide note? Have y'all seen that one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just weird. And I got one of General
how you doing,
Thunderbolt
sir?
from Hulk, and he's got a gun up to his head. He's going to commit suicide. So there's a lot of weird covers you can buy that's cheap. So, but we was talking about horror anthologies, and if you ain't read this one, something's wrong with you. This is a good one too. Hotel. Have you read this one?
I have not.
This one here is. I grew up loving like Tales from the Dark Side and Tales from the Crypt.
Tales from the Dark Side.
Tales from the Crypt, Twilight Zone. This book here, the narrator is the hotel manager, and he tells a different horror story from every room in the hotel with every issue.
Oh, so it's a horror version of 4 Rooms.
Yeah, but it's all kinds of different rooms. I think there's like 12 issues of this so far.
Interesting.
So, and the crazy part about it that blew my dick off, as they say on here, issue 2, I quit reading halfway through it and had to get up and run through the house because I couldn't believe it. You read issue 1 and like you see things in the background like people, and then you read issue 2 and you find out that's the people that was in issue 1 in the background.
They're all interconnected. Nice.
Yeah. Like somebody might hear some bump at the door or bump against the wall in the room next door to it. Then you read the next issue or 2 issues later and you find out that somebody just got killed over there and slammed against the wall. So
that's really detailed. Yeah.
So
that needs to be done as a show.
Yeah. So I'm looking around in the background, seeing who's at the Coke machines because they might be the next door. You know what I mean?
Nice.
So,
right. That's
they
cool.
got all kinds of crazy stuff going on in there. So
I might have to pick up the trades.
Oh, it's amazing. John Lees is one of my favorite. He writes a lot of stuff. He wrote Crimson Cage, Sync. He writes all kinds of cool books.
See, I haven't read anything from AWA yet.
Well, this is the best. I love this book. So next, I had to go with my wife to Columbus, Georgia to see her family and stay in a house with them for a week. And you know how boring that can be. So after about a day or two, I decided, I got to get out of here. So first thing I did was hit comic book stores near me.
Right.
And it was this little shitty hole in the wall. And you walk in, it had nothing. It had no wall books. It had no big expensive books, no pre-code horror, no Silver Age, no nothing. And it had a bunch of back issues, but they're all 90s. So I felt bad just leaving, not buying nothing. So you're trying to find something to support this comic book store. And I told the guy that I like horror. And he just pointed at the wall over there, and he pointed at this. Death Follows. Oh. This is Colin Bunn. I'm a big Colin Bunn fan, and he writes like Harlow County, and he wrote Shock Shop, and
so much.
Yeah, he does a lot of stuff. I'm reading his Ghost Lore now, but this right here came out on his website as a regular comic book that you could only buy digitally, and it was so big that he made a trade of it. So. Some reason I can just really relate to Colin Bunn. He's from North Carolina and I'm from Tennessee, and a lot of the stuff he does and talks about, there's just certain artists that you can, relate to for some reason. But
sure.
Anything Colin Bunn does, y'all need to pick up because it's really good stuff.
Total Fire. You got some Colin Bunn fans here. Basilisk, Harrow County. I did read the first trade of Harrow County, and it was really good.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what it was right now, Dope. There was one about a space thing, and it was really good that I enjoyed from him.
Yeah, everything he does.
I got it in a box here somewhere, but
yeah, he might be my favorite writer.
But Harrow County is a great read. Warlord, how you doing tonight, sir?
Warlord. Next, we've got another John Lees book, the guy that wrote Hotel and stuff. It's called Sync. This right here is about.
I've heard of that one.
This right here is about a town called Sync Hill. And it's a very terrible town. Every issue is an anthology, but they're all tied together because it's from the same town.
Right.
They got these clowns that roll around in a van at night and they kidnap people.
The clowns.
Yeah. And in certain books, they ride around in this blue van and they just find people and they kidnap them and kill them. And this book here is about a nurse that, and she just wants to survive for the night. And, it's the whole fight to survive thing in this book. But, the artwork's great. It's a beautiful book. And it's every story is crazy in this. So if you ain't reading Sync, Sync's amazing.
Yeah. So did they write the nurse good? Are you rooting for her the whole time?
You're rooting for her, but
thank you, Matt.
You tell she's really beat up at the end. So
see, if she looked like Rosario Dawson, I'd really root for her.
Yeah, she
then the clowns would be getting Night Nurse.
She gets beat up,
right?
And then she goes home and sees her kid and husband sitting on the couch, and she don't think she could go in there looking like that, but she's beat to a pulp. So,
man,
but you need
these clowns.
Yeah. It's a wild stories. You need to read Sync.
Through your nerves, nice to see you. He's saying it sounds like they could be true stories.
Yeah, I mean, well, this is really based on not based on a true story, but John Lee's urban legend in his town is that there's a blue van that rides around at night and it's got clowns in it. And he heard that story growing up, so he made a comic book about it. So, but they kidnap people and they put some kind of gas on their face, and
And Callie Thompson loves Mr. Dig.
Huh? Dig is awesome. Dig is just a spinoff of this. So whoever likes Dig is a friend of mine. So
there you go. Great one. So that's
Dig Dug. Does that count?
Dig Dug's awesome too. I love Dig Dug.
Right?
I'm going to show you something, Rob, before we get off here that I bought recently. Silver Coin.
Yes.
Another horror anthology. This is my favorite of all the books. This one right here. This number 11. I'm sure you read this one. This is where everybody at the cafe was eating like crazy, and he started feeding them people.
Yep.
Really, really brutal.
That was just the way he was like possessed back there was just something else.
I love it. This is the best James Tynion book.
I thought that one was really good, and I also thought the soldier one was really good.
Yeah.
The soldier one was great.
Serving up meat pies.
This book, Rob, is about a coin that gets stolen in one of the first books. A coin gets stolen, and everybody gets this coin has bad luck. So it's an anthology,
evil.
But everybody that gets the coin gets possessed or something happens to them. So
got it.
I'm so glad to hear it's coming back because I love that series so much.
Yeah, it's really, really good. And, it's a lot better to me than Twisted Tales, but Twisted Tales is the Godfather. But this is my favorite series, one of my favorite series.
Well, what I like about that too, Dope, is it reads like old horror.
Yeah. And it's brutal. They have different writers, but they keep the same artist, so you get the same feel on every book.
Oh, the one in The Office was good too.
I like the camp one. Do you remember the one where the girl goes to camp and everybody starts pulling it around? And she ends up killing everybody. But you can see these books are.
You got John Stout saying that's a great series. Yeah, it is. If anyone who hasn't read Silver Coin, it is worth it. It's an anthology, and I think Dope will agree. I think they have probably 2-week stories, and the other 13 issues are fantastic.
Yeah, and it's so much better. I have a hard time saying this because I'm a fan of Creepshow growing up, but this is so much better than Creepshow. So much better than Shock Shop or any of the other anthologies came out last, Halloween or whatever. But this is the granddaddy. This is the big one. So that's a favorite of mine. And
what we're talking about too, you said it. It's always the same artist, but it doesn't matter what story he's telling. His art seems to fit it.
Yeah.
In that series,
I'm so used to him doing the art. There's so many times that it don't matter who it is. If somebody does the art, like something's killing the children. I thought the art sucked when I first started looking at it, but you get used to that world. Like that's what you expect everybody to look like in that world.
And that soldier one will mess you up. That's a brutal ending for the soldier one.
Yeah. That's crazy. And I've got some friends who are in the Army, and they love that book right there. Because I guess you could go crazy in the woods like that and kill all your friends. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Don't spoil it for those who are going to read it, Dope.
Rob ain't going to read it. Rob don't care about no horror.
Actually, it's funny you say that.
Space bubble helmets on.
I haven't started reading them yet. I've kind of gotten a bug lately, and I've been picking up a lot of Bronze Age horror lately. Witching Hour, Enter House of Mystery, Vault of Evil.
Yeah, I saw your horror thing you posted a few weeks ago.
Yeah, so I've been picking up some. I just picked up another lot of books the other day, and it's just it's something new that the covers, at least if nothing else, have given me some draw that I've go, hey, yeah, and it's something I haven't done yet. So it's a lot of stuff that's available to me cheap.
Yeah, and I love it. I mean, I love just looking for any kind of 70s DC horror or any kind of stuff like that's fun. The Witching Hour, I've got that whole run, and I love like House of Mystery, House of Secrets, the Weird War Tales. I like those, so they were real cool.
Yeah, and a couple of the Weird War Tales.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah, and then of course there's some of the tales. I've already been collecting some of the tales of the unexplained because they were sci-fi, but then there's also the horror ones from them, and then same thing even with the AMG group with their they had these runs that start off as horror but then switch to sci-fi. So I have a lot of the upper issues, but now as I'm going back down and getting lower issues, now I'm ending up picking up some of those horror books. So
yeah, I love like Golden Key and Dale, all that kind of stuff. Charlton, great. So
even the old Ripley's Believe It or Nots are fun.
Yeah. So I don't know what number we're on, but one of my big
we are number 8.
All right, I'm saving my big 2 for last.
Okay.
But I love this. It ain't just a zombie story. If y'all know anything about Dead Day?
I don't. That's one I saw in the comic shop, but I didn't pick it up.
Dead Day is not your typical zombie story. Supposedly when the stars are in line every few years, all the dead come back up, but they're not like zombies. Some people throwing parties. Some people are happy to see their loved ones. Some of them want revenge. Some of them don't have nobody there for them when they come back. Some guys come back to see their kids and their wife and find out that they've moved on and been remarried. So, it's like, it makes you think, you know what I mean? Like, right. Everybody's got loved ones they would like to say something to one more time. And if you knew like in 3 years the stars are going to line up, would you go meet them at the grave?
It almost sounds like the Day of the Dead festival, but you actually get to meet them.
Yeah, they come back and, like one guy was a motorcycle accident and his head was all busted up. They put a helmet on him and they're just sitting around at a picnic table having a party with him. It's like,
Just don't take your helmet off, Steve. We'll be just fine. Yeah.
Well, and it's hard to move on because you're like, hey, I'd like to get remarried, but I know how am I going to tell him in 2 years when on Dead Day, I moved on without you.
Oh.
And
well, you're dead.
Then there's people who come back and want to kill their boss or want some kind of revenge. You know what I mean? So you get angry people or why me, so.
Well, I mean, yeah, if you're dead, what's to stop you from seeking revenge?
Yeah.
What do you do? Kill me?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So, it's really weird, something to think about, So
but one guy that wouldn't say that ASM 15, you're coming back for him.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, So, but this is a weird story. If you want to read a good story, it's
Andy, how you doing, sir?
And you got people.
Him on here, another appearance.
You got people killing goats and stuff and putting blood all over their doors. That's the only way to keep the dead out of your house. So
hey, Matt Woods is in the chat. You can't talk about goat killing around Matt.
Oh, Matt got goats?
He's got goats, and they follow him. They're really cute.
Or is he the goat? Greatest of all time. Not Matt.
A little bit of both. He's got goats, and he is the goat.
All right, these next two are my two favorite reads of all time.
Okay.
And
okay.
Y'all probably never heard of neither one of them, but they're amazing. This right here is called The Hanged Man of Maze World.
You're right. I never heard of that one.
This came out with Caliber Comics, and you need to read this. It's only 2 issues. So this right here, it starts out with a guy on death row, and he's on death row, and they're marching him to the gallows. And when he falls, it snaps his neck, and he wakes up on the ground, and he's in hell. And that's Maze World, basically. And
was
so
his name Tom Dooley?
Huh?
Was his name Tom Dooley?
I don't know what his name was. I don't think he had a name of Tom Dooley.
It's never mind. It's a folk song reference for people who are fuddy-duddies like me.
Fuddy-duddies.
Anybody who knows Kingston Trio, come on, they know Tom Dooley.
But he wakes up in hell, which is Maze World, and they tell him if you can get out of Maze World, you'll be alive.
Huh.
So
there's a chance.
Man on a mission.
2 issues, he's trying to. I mean, hell's full of evil demons and all kinds of people, and as you can see, all kinds of crazy looking people. The artwork is all black and white, and trying to find something, but it's like really detailed artwork.
Oh, wow, that is nice. What a cool 2-page spread.
Yeah, he's shows him hanging on the gallows and all that. But spoiler, I'm going to tell you the end part of it. So he makes his way out of hell, and it shows him just dangling. He'd been dangling for 10 minutes on the rope, but in hell it felt like it was weeks.
Wow.
And then so he made his way out of hell, and they had to cut him down because it didn't kill him. And so he made his way out of Maze World. But it's a long story, and it's got all kinds of crazy pictures. And there's what hell supposedly looks like. There's no way to get off of it.
I think one of my favorite realizations of hell was in the Hellraiser series. I love the Cenobites hell.
Got the waterfall, but this is a crazy world, kind of like how we like Conan and the maps.
Right.
That's what hell is. You start finding your way around the mazes and trying to figure out if he could get out of hell. And
doesn't look like I would expect. Our album covers totally lied to us.
They did, because this is the real deal here. So great book.
Meatloaf had it all wrong.
Meatloaf had it wrong.
Bill and Ted's reference. Thank you, Gary.
I love the second Bill and Ted so much with death. I love that that he has no self-confidence, and he's always like, don't overlook my part in this. It kills me every time he says it.
Oh, man.
But no, that's I'll have to check that out, Dope.
Yeah, it's great. I mean,
I just read a book called The Necromancer, which I thought was pretty good.
But this is 2 issues. You can get them pretty cheap, and it's Caliber Comics because it comes from overseas. But I love it. I try to read it every year. So good stuff.
Just keep turning left.
Exactly. Is that how you do it? That's how you get out of hell? Just left.
Yes, didn't work out for Jack Nicholson in The Shining.
Good point. Oh, me.
All right, number 10, sir.
This book, I don't know if you've ever read it, but being a Barbarian fan, being I know you like Iron Jaw and Cole and all them guys. This is the greatest. This is better than Conan. Oh,
let's not talk crazy now.
Sun Eater. You ever heard of that?
I've heard of it. I had no idea what it was. I've never read it.
It's 3 issues, and I went out and bought the trade that I could take it with me everywhere I go. It's Sun Eater. This is about a guy, and the king captures his son, and basically holds him hostage and says he's got a better life in a kingdom without his dad. So his dad wants to get his son back. And he goes in a cave and he talks to this wizard. And this wizard says, how bad do you want to get your son back? And he says, more than anything. So he says, I want you to chop your leg off. So he starts chopping his leg off.
Wow.
You can see down here, he just hands him his leg. So, but you can see how good the art is in this thing, too. It's amazing
nice and
art.
Dark and moody.
So he chops his leg off. And the guy gives him basically a fur to put around his chest. And that's all he gave him. And he didn't tell him nothing. And he's like, what the hell? I just chopped my leg off and a dude gave me a damn fur. But later on that night, he finds out with this fur that he becomes a golden werewolf, basically, when he wears this.
Well, you just sold me with werewolf because they're my favorite horror creature.
Well, he can turn into a werewolf now, and he's got the power now to fight the king and all the king's men. Does
he regrow his leg when he turns into a werewolf? Or he's a one-legged werewolf?
Melodope.
He's a golden wolf, and what he does is he gets his elf to make him a leg. So,
well, of course, that's what I would have done.
But you can see him right here. He doesn't have a leg.
Either the elf or the dwarf to fashion a leg. That only makes sense.
You see how he don't have a leg there? Yeah. He's got a nub. Well, he's addicted to these things called death flowers. So he's a druggie.
Who isn't?
Yeah. So he loves death flowers. And you can see he's all passed out and he eats these flowers all the time. Well, they said this book is a metaphor for a guy that's trying to get his kid back from the state. And the kingdom represents the state. And his kid is in an orphanage. And he has to go, the cave represents his probational officer. So he's a druggie that's going to see his probational officer is trying to get his kid back from the state. So it's what it all is a metaphor for. So, yeah, one-legged werewolf. And you might like this. It shows you.
Thank you, Norrin. I haven't watched season 6 yet. I have.
It shows you the characters. You can see.
And you said it's only 3 issues, huh?
Well, that's what I got to tell you about. There's no ending to this damn story. So it plagued me at first. I wrote Heavy Metal. I was mad as hell because they quit making this book. Heavy Metal got bought out by Whatnot Publishing. And Whatnot owns the rights to this now.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. And they probably are not going to do anything with it.
The werewolf looks like it has 2 legs.
I sit in my bed at night and I think about the ending because I don't know the ending. Nobody knows the ending. So, I'm kind of come to the part where there's never going to be an ending. So I kind of love it because I can kind of use my imagination and make up.
I think that would drive me nuts.
What drives me nuts is how is the wolf not regrow its leg, but the illustrations clearly show it having all its legs.
I'm going to show you where he gets his fake leg.
Or does the fake leg transform into a wolf
leg? Asking him when he's not a werewolf, does he have? No, he's always got one.
Where is his fake leg? I will show you his fake leg.
Well, because I was looking at the big illustration you were showing at the end there.
The wolf. Yeah, the wolf does.
Schultzy.
Sit.
Right. Well, he does, but in the wolf,
the werewolf don't need a fake leg.
So that's what I asked. When he transforms into the wolf, does he regrow the leg? The answer then is yes.
I guess so.
Okay.
But he blacks out and don't even know he's a wolf. He just sees dead bodies everywhere and don't even know he did it for the longest time.
Yeah. So he's not hopping as a wolf. He's running.
Yeah. He's a killing machine. And this book has all kinds of characters in it. And the guard, the army, or the kingdom, they send out all these assassins to kill him before he can get close to the kingdom. And the old Gold Wolf there starts killing all these special people one at a time. So it was really good. And there's no ending. So
I have no idea why I became so fixated on the leg for some reason, but
that's Rob being Rob. That's what Rob does.
Well,
the point, Rob.
If you're going to have a werewolf and he grows out his snout and everything else, you think he would grow the leg back too.
This is what happened when you get a guy who deals with contracts for a living, who has to pay attention to the fine detail. He focuses and fixates on some stupid minute point that ruins the entire story now for everyone.
I love stuff like when he's looking in the bowl and he sees the wolf in the bowl. He don't know what's going on. He thinks it's his drugs. He don't know. You need to read that. That's good stuff.
Werewolf with a limp.
Right.
Werewolf with a limp. And I love the fact now that there ain't no ending. I can just make up stuff and wonder what happened.
Well, the thing is, though, if Whatnot bought the company, you think they'd want to continue that and give it an ending for the fans?
Not necessarily.
They bought They bought the whole Heavy Metal production line, so I don't know.
I know. Thorson's not happy about that.
Yeah, I'm not happy with it either. Because I don't think they're doing anything with it. They ain't did nothing with it yet. They've had.
I haven't read anything from Whatnot. It just all looks so garbagey.
Yeah, I agree. Some kind of ninja book and this and that.
Yeah, and I was requested. I'm like, yeah. I picked it up, looked at it, said nope, put it right back down.
Well, and also the big wigs on YouTube, they promote it like it's QVC channel because
right
cut of it or something.
So number 11 with a personal story attached, sir.
Well, I love one character a lot. I don't know if you can see that second row there, but there's a lot of Credible Hulks everywhere. Credible Hulk to me is what got me into horror. Starting out early days, I live in a small town, and when you go in there and you're looking for monster stuff, there ain't none. There was just Marvel and DC, and I was like, hey, look at this guy. He's a monster. He's a big green monster. So I started reading Incredible Hulk, and this is the very first issue I ever bought. Came out in like 1991. I was, 11 years old, and this is the first issue I ever bought. 377 of Incredible Hulk.
And this is such a great cover because his silhouette in that is just perfect.
Yeah. And I bought this, and then I fell in love with his one of his rogue gallery. I fell in love with Mr. Hyde, and had to buy every Mr. Hyde book I could find. And from there on, you get into monsters and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde old books, and then that led to the Dell books and all that kind of stuff.
Which is ironic, given that that's really what Banner and Hulk are, is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Is that
right?
Yeah. The whole transformation thing. So I
love it. Don't lie, your favorite Space Hulk by Donny Cates. You can't fool us.
I don't like Space Hulk, and I hold your ears, Rob. I don't like 2099 either. But,
well, let's be honest. There's a lot to not like about Hulk 2099.
But the new Hulk,
like all of it.
The new Hulk that just came out is fabulous. I don't know if y'all are reading that at all, but the new Hulk is a horror book. So
I've been saving all my money for all the new barbaric stuff from Titan Comics.
Well, I love the new Hulk, and I love the Immortal Hulk. That's the two best. They're both horror. And but this is the book that started it all. Without this book, I don't think I'd had any book. So
now, what's your favorite Hulk storyline then, Dope? You must be a fan of Maestro too, because that's a pretty horrific Hulk.
Yeah, that's all right. I have a lot of favorite issues. Probably just the Immortal Hulk, the whole storyline, if you're talking about the storyline. But I love a lot of the old issues, and I've got 2 through 6, and I'm saving now for Hulk 1. I've been saving for about a year. I'm hopefully around.
That's a spicy meatball.
Yeah, I need about 12 to 15,000. So for a 1.5 to 2 in blue CGC, so I will be spending $12,000 to $15,000. My wife don't like it too well, but I gotta have it. It's one of the things I gotta have. I don't collect guns. I don't have a big boat or a 4x4. I gotta have this one comic. You know what I mean? It's a lot cheaper than a 4x4 $75,000 F-150, right?
Right.
So,
with monthly payments and gas.
That kind of argument, you can bump yourself up to a 4.0.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not into.
Hey, well, nobody's going to give you a 7-year loan at 7% interest for that, but I
got 2 big comic book shows coming up here in my town, and they're real Comic Cons. They're in old VFWs, and there's nothing but books. There's no, cosplay or none of that, and there's always a guy that's got one, and I'm going to try to get it from him. So maybe cash talks. We'll see how it goes. So
they did it, Heroes.
Yeah, I want to complete one. A lot of them you see is 0.5. They're missing something. I just want a complete blue copy.
Yeah, I settled for that on my ASM for now. I was like missing back cover. Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, I can deal with that for now.
Well, that don't bother me as bad because I'm all about the story. So
right.
I want a complete story because to me, I just love the Hulk story. I love where it's went from 1962. I mean, for 61 years now, it's just been developing. And I call it all the same story. If you go back to 62 and see how small he was compared to now, and just how much gamma rays have affected him, he's totally a monster now compared to what he was in, 62.
Yep.
62, he was hiding from army men behind bushes and stuff.
That's right.
I don't think he'd be hiding from a Private Ryan somewhere hiding behind a bush.
No, he wouldn't even notice him because the guy would be that insignificant to him.
Totally agree. So, all right. You ready for my big what you call
big
this?
Speculation, baby? Because everybody knows when you hear the name Dope Comics, you think speculation.
You think spec? That's all I talk about on my channel.
That's right.
And people should pay for my stuff because I know the spec.
This is everybody start recording now because this is free advice.
This is big talk right here. All right, I had to think, what do I got that's spec? Because as you see, everything I read, nobody knows what I'm talking about. But anyway, I was like, I've got to find something that's hot.
But all the stuff you read has been rising up in price, though, except for the modern ones,
Yeah, this right here in my hands, though, is smoking hot.
Bronze Age horror and back is all going up in price.
Yeah, a lot of books I used to get cheaper. Now I can't find them cheap anymore, so.
Same here.
Everybody got their pencil ready?
Yep.
This is big.
Justin's got his ready.
See all this? This is big. But it's all one series. All right. So we know James Gunn just took over DC.
Oh.
What is the weirdest series in all of DC?
Creature Commandos.
What about the first series of everybody? We got the first Atlas, and then you got the first Green Team, and you got Metaphorpho. That ain't his first one. My favorite book of the bunch, and I know Lady B, you love this. I mean, Lady B, Gary B, I know you love Lady.
I got 2 copies of that one, and I got those first 3.
I've got no telling how many of this, but if James Gunn's going to make a movie, he's going to have some bad guys in there to kill some goofy stuff, and this is where all the goofy stuff is. You got Manhunter, you got the Dingbat's first appearance, you got old Creeper in here, you got Warlord, his first DC issue, you got a Dr. Fate. You got the first Outsiders or whatever. You got Codename Assassin. You got the first Starman. And you got the Return of the New Gods. So there's a good chance he's going to use something out of here, right?
Right.
But let me tell you why you should love this book right here. And I don't know if you know this, Gary B. You might just love Lady Cop because it's Lady Cop. But I'm into weird shit. And this book right here is weird. If you look on YouTube, you'll find this, or eBay, you'll find this book for $50. It's crazy prices for this book. Or you'll find it for $2 and a $2 bill. It's either really high or real cheap because people that's really high knows what's going on.
And I paid $10 for each of my copies.
Yeah.
And they're in good shape.
Buy these all day. This book right here came out in 1975. Well, in 1966, there's a guy named Richard Speck out of Chicago that killed 8 student nurses, broke into their house, slit their throats, chopped them all up, and one of the 9th nurse hid underneath her bed while all this was going on. That happened in 1966. In 1975, this book came out and copied it to a T, except she only killed 2 people in this book. And Lady Cop hid under her bed, and that's why she wanted to become a cop, because she wanted to catch this guy. But this book got frowned upon because it copied the Richard Speck case of 1966 out of Chicago. So a lot of people thought that the author didn't do a good job because he didn't even write a story. He just copied that one to a T.
To be fair, they're not wrong. That book, as much as I love it as a guilty pleasure book, the quality of the writing is up and down throughout that whole book.
Well, I mean, they did copy the story to a T, and I love it because I'm into weird shit like that. And
I love that book, but I mean, it's an up and down read.
Oh, that whole series is that series. If you've read any of them other things from Dingbats to Atlantis, it's all crazy.
Atlas was the same way. Like I just recently read Atlas. I'm like, all right, it was good, not great, but it was good.
Do you like Warlord since you're a Barbarian fan?
I've never actually read Warlord. That's a hole I have.
You gotta get you some Warlord.
I tried sending him one time. He said, "No, Rob, I don't read Warlord."
I don't know if I can get into another series that I got to complete. That's like 131 issues plus the annuals and.
Well, are you reading Danger Street?
I'm collecting it. I haven't read it yet.
It's amazing. It's my favorite read. As you see, it's my little icon when you're on my channel.
Before I read it.
Well, that's amazing. Danger Street,
And the Lady Cop cover was amazing.
Oh yeah, that's my little icon that I always use on YouTube.
Yeah, that cover was fantastic.
But Tom King took all these books and he thought about making all these people in one world. So you got everything from the Outsiders, the Warlord, the Lady Cop fighting each other. So pretty crazy, but I do love Danger Street and I love Lady Cop, and I wish they would make some kind of show with Lady Cop.
There you go.
And that's one of those books that like you, if I see it and it's $10 or under, it's coming home with me. Yeah,
Lady Cop. And you'll love Lady Cop even more if you read Danger Street. Make sure you read.
You know who introduced me to that book, right? Was silver-haired Bronze Age babe.
Ah. Well, read Danger Street because you'll love Lady Cop. So
there you go.
She's a main character in that. So.
And I've been getting, I've got the Danger Street. I want to have all 12 issues before I sit down and read it.
Oh, I love it. It's probably my favorite thing I've read this year.
Because I like to read my mini and maxi series as one. Like I just sat down and read the whole 15-issue She-Hulk series and loved it.
See, I can't do that.
It's so good as one read.
I have to read one issue a month, even if I have the whole mini series there. I have to have time for it to marinate. I have to think about each issue. I have to sit by the water cooler and talk to people about it. I feel like even with Netflix shows, I can't watch every show back to back to back.
See, I did that with Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. I waited till I had them all. I sat down and read it and loved it.
Don't you feel like you kind of like flew through it though, doing that?
No, I think like it feels like a movie to me. Like I get the whole movie.
Yeah.
I like to read it, and I like to get my stuff in bursts, if nothing else, just because otherwise it's like too much time goes between issues, and you get with everything else you're reading, it becomes fragmented. It's just easier to pick up, like at least at minimum reading 4 or 5 issues at a time, so you get a block of story.
I just got in all 4 issues of Rogues. I don't know if you've ever read it, but it's a DC book, Black, and I'll read one a month, and I'll keep track of what week I got it, and then I'll read it a month, the 2 next month, and I just love to do it that way.
And Kevin does Kevin combines us. He reads each one, and then he reads it all over again when it's complete.
Yeah, and good stuff. People make fun of me
in one hand, Gary in the other, and he puts them together.
And I know I've heard you do it, and I do it, but people make fun of me because I'll go back and read a story every year. Like you've already read
it all
that.
the time. You know many of these stories I've reread?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
especially the Conans.
Yeah.
Especially the Spider-Womans. I've read a bunch of those over and over again.
Yeah, my wife's like, why are you reading a book you've already read? I'm like, I just like reading it.
It's the same reason you watch a movie you've already watched. You enjoy the journey.
She reads real books.
Right.
She likes Jonathan Grissom books, and she'll read it one time and give it away, but I keep mine.
Now, see, I've read a lot of my books over and over. Like Clive Barker is my favorite. I've read a bunch of his books over again. They're just fantastic.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Great books, dope. That was fun, man.
Let me show you one big book, and I will get off here. Okay?
And you get extra points for Lady Cop.
Lady Cop's amazing, ain't it? I'm gonna show you this one book I've had that I'm pretty proud of. And then we'll go. Rob, you might like this one. All right. So there's this book I've been chasing for probably 5 or 6 years. There's probably 7 on the census. And, you got to be patient when there's 7 out there.
Yeah.
I put it on my search on eBay, and I look every day, and I never could find one. And, of course, they always pop up when you least expect them. So as soon as it popped up, I didn't even have the money, but I bought it anyway. Just because I knew if I missed it, it could be another 5 or 6 years,
Right.
So this is before pre-code horror. This is 1945. This is Prize Comics number 53. Look at that beautiful cover.
Oh, wow.
So we got the old Colonel Sanders devil there with the goatee and the bushy eyebrows. And, back in 45, NFL wasn't big. It was all about boxing, horse racing, and baseball.
Right.
And so this is a cool old book.
Nice.
Beautiful book. A lot of people don't like stuff like this or know anything about it, but this is the kind of stuff I like to collect.
No, that's cool. I think I've seen you show that book before, too.
I have. I've been showing it a lot lately just because this is the newest book I've got. And when you're saving for stuff like this, it takes a lot of time to save up, like the Hulk now. Right. So that's why I read so much. So it's like you ain't got nothing to do except sit around and read. So I read all moderns and collect stuff like this and save up for it. So
cool.
But I thank you guys for letting me come on here.
Well, that'll be a big day when you get that Hulk.
Oh, I'm getting the Hulk. I'm almost halfway there. So I think I got about $7,000 now. So we'll see. If I got $9,000 and go to a show, I might be able to get it for $9,000 in cash. If it's, but most I see is 10 to 15. So,
maybe a cash and trade.
Yeah, something. But I don't know what I want to get rid of because I've never got rid of anything. But I will buy one. So,
you can always get rid of something that you can reacquire later. It's a little bit easier to reacquire.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to get one though. So,
well, good luck, man.
Yeah. I knew when I got 2 through 6, my OCD will not let me just have 2 through 6. So
right, exactly. That's the worst thing about comics is they put numbers on them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, definitely. Yeah, especially I think like all three of us, like, if I start a series, I want all of it. That's why when I started reading again, I didn't get back into Spider-Man. I'm like, nope.
Yep.
I'm only finally learning really big ones. Yeah.
Huh?
So I'm only learning how to break myself of that habit.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I like things that have like 50 to 150 issue runs. I mean, when I got back in 2019, Conan and Savage Sword were my two big ones because they were both over 200 issues. But I mean, when you're talking about the history of comics, that's not really a big run.
Did you wait till you got all of them to read that, or how'd you do that?
I've read there's a bunch of them I read as a kid, and then as I was buying them, I would read them. I mean, I still haven't read every one. It's a lot of books, right? It's over 600 books. So
I love The Thing from the Crypt.
The Thing from the Crypt is great. Yeah. I basically read 1 through like 100, and then 130 to 200. So I have 2 spots I have to hit.
Have you heard the heavy metal song on YouTube about The Thing from the Crypt?
I think so. I think Thorson shared it to me.
Yeah, he shared it with me. It was like a British metal band that sounds like Iron Maiden, and they read the comic book, I guess, and just wrote a song off of it.
Yeah, The Thing from the Crypt is a fun story.
Yeah.
And Gil Kane.
I love all Conan books because of that. His will to survive and all that, so.
Nice. Well, dude, those were fantastic. And thank you for coming on a second time. And we're going to go around the horn here. And I know I'm out of sorts. I'm still battling this thing. Rob, what's coming up for you, sir?
Well, we got the usual routine. We'll have a Thursday. There is a CGC and a CBCS signature returns come back, some commissions that were done, so various stuff like that from those 2 companies. And then Saturday, we have, hopefully, weather permitting, we have the Unruly Simeon coming on to onto Only Slabs this week. And then we'll back Monday mail call, and next Monday another massive mail call.
Nice.
Probably one of the most significant Silver Age books there is.
Oh, nice. First Pace Pop Pete, huh?
Yeah, right.
Dope, what's coming up for you, buddy?
Well, I've got my show. It just pops on whenever I do it. You never know when I'm going to do it. I don't know when I'm going to do it. But on Sunday nights, I like to do the Dope Show live. I have people on, and we either talk comics or show off big books or whatever. And then I'm always posting on her through the week. But I know I got a Hulk review coming up this week I'm going to do. And just check me out at dope_comics with an X like Malcolm. And Rob, don't forget about the Comics with Cancer.
Well, yeah, it's not just me, it's everybody. But that is coming up October. So make sure you follow at Comics Curing Cancer on Instagram to keep up with all the latest news and information about that. We have some big announcements coming pretty soon about some of the things that we've got lined up for this year's event.
All right. What reason I brought that up, Rob, you got to give me your address because I want to give you this to put in there.
That's going to be really hard for me to give up for I'll just have to buy it from the auction, I guess.
There's a Planet Comics 5.5. This is from 1947. Maybe you can raise some money with it.
That one night before he gives it away.
Oh, I'm sure we will. Planet Comics is a phenomenal sci-fi anthology series. Just awesome. Thank you so much, sir. Yeah, I'll ping you after this. I actually have a show after this, right, coming up in 5 minutes. I have to run to, but I will ping you this evening.
All right, I'll send you this, and you can get a beautiful copy of 5.5 from 1947.
Very nice.
You, sir, are a gentleman and a scholar. I don't care what Gary says about you.
I got plenty more to say, damn it.
All right, y'all have a good night.
Well, hold on. Coming up for me, in 2 nights' time, please check out the channel at 8 o'clock. We're going to have Joe Janowitz, an author, on, Ken Wheaton, who does a lot of our channel art and does a lot of art in the industry and sells his art at cons. And Stephanie is going to reveal who Lucy is. and we're gonna break out just what the project Halloween is that all 4 of us are involved in. So we got that big reveal and a trailer coming up Thursday night. So tune in to see what that's all about. And then following that, Stephanie will appear as Lucy on our Coffee and Cosplay show Saturday morning. So we'll get a double dose of Lucy, and you guys will get to learn about a cool project coming up between her channel and my channel, and a couple local guys here in Rochester. And also next week, we have 2 more returning guests to the 1011. We have Anachronic Comics on Tuesday, and then on next Thursday, we have Mark Andrews back on another 1011. So we're bringing back some people who wanted second appearances, and we're going to have some fun with that and with big collections. So tune in next week and see all that goodness. But tune in Thursday and Saturday to check out Lucy and Halloween. And no, I'm not Lucy, Rob. And guys, thank you all in the chat. We really appreciate you guys all coming out and supporting us. Everyone's links is in the description below. And sorry I'm a little off kilter. The cold's killing me. But guys, as we like to do, until next time, keep it casual.